Hey, welcome to the channel. I got a special video here for you. I've got Jakob here from the GREYD team, and GREYD is a suite of products for WordPress. It's plugin and theme, and we'll get into kind of what that looks like. And we wanted to take a look particularly at the global content, which I think is one of the main selling points of GREYD that really gives it kind of superpowers for your WordPress site. So, Jakob, I think you're calling in from Germany. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, from Munich, Germany. Yeah.
Awesome. Welcome. Well, I
Yeah.
appreciate you jumping on here. I'm excited to take a look. And yeah, if you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us a little bit about GREYD.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, Brendan. Yeah, I'm Jakob. I live in Munich, Germany, and work for GREYD for quite some time actually now. Came here as straight from university, pretty much as a user interface designer, and now running the development team for quite some time actually. And yeah, we developed a suite of yeah, you phrased it really nicely. Suite of products. It's a combination of plugins and themes. Not all of them optional. One core plugin, yeah, defines the core. And yeah, it actually our customers are mostly freelancers, agencies, larger corporations, and we try to bring you the entire experience of a professional website. So pretty much everything that a professional website needs should be included. Obviously, from you always have some custom capability, some custom functionality that you want. So you can use whatever plugin you want to be, and we are compatible with that. But so what the basis of a professional website, we deliver that. And what we really focus on is not essentially the barber shop next door or the bakery across the street shouldn't be or could be able to build a really nice looking website really easily, but that's not our main focus. I think a lot of other solutions are doing this as well. We are focusing more on what if you have to build another website, another website, another website, and maybe you have hundreds of websites that you build during a year or quite some time, or and you even have to maintain them. You have to maintain them for your clients or for yourself because you're a larger corporation that have different sites with partners, and they all have to follow specific guidelines like obviously design compliance. They have to have specific content, like what if the CEO of your company changes, or the main address of the main email address, or whatever you might think of. And that's quite some issue to update that across hundreds of sites if you have this problem. And yeah, so that's in a nutshell what you could describe we offer. What and today we are talking a little bit about global content as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it sounds
Um,
like that's a good segue because it's, changing your phone number on one site is one thing, but when you have, tens or hundreds of sites that you manage and you need consistency across the brand and the content. I think that's what I was particularly interested in talking about today.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily only content like a phone number. Obviously, there's a really easy example to understand it, but
Right.
everything inside WordPress at the end of the day is some post data. I mean, except for options, WP options, but even them you can distribute in some kind of way. But apart from that, everything is a post. So even if it's an attachment, so a media image, a post, a page, a custom post type, whatever. And if you can distribute this across different sites, you can reuse it. And this could be in just a wireframe template, like a reusable block. It could be your header is essentially a post as well. It's a WP template invisible inside the site editor. So everything pretty much inside WordPress can be a post with meta information, taxonomy terms, whatever comes with it. And if you can distribute them and mix and match them, this is really, really powerful and capable of doing a lot of stuff, actually. And yeah, that's what we're doing, and we're trying to kind of differentiate in between like layout and design and content. So if you separate this, then you can create reusable assets. Because if you have your design assets each and every time, obviously your content on each website is different, but you're kind of always having different similar sections every time. You will probably always build some section to display some kind of latest posts or some kind of testimonials and a hero section. So different examples. And if you prepare them and have them as a wireframe and just put them in and then fill it with the data later on, and you can maintain them across similar installations, then this can really boost your efficiency at the end of the day. And that's what we're focusing on.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I mean, it was something that was like a light bulb moment for me when you realized you're supposed to be separating your content layer and your design layer and having your content be portable. Being able to change themes potentially, or being able to use headless capabilities. I think that's a really good skill to understand. And at the end of the day, like, the web's just made of a bunch of JSON data, it seems like. So
Yeah. Yeah, and actually, we are kind of in a phase, or not even in a phase. It's been there for quite some time, but everybody demands visual editing of their website. And if you have a visual editor, whether it be a page builder or the block editor, kind of like content and design gets mixed up. So
yep,
everything is within the same post content, safe within the same post content. So this can be challenging, and then you still want to kind of separate data, the actual content data, from the design data, and that's what we're trying to take care of. Obviously, you can always mix and match, and you might want to have the headline statically inside your template. That's fine for you. But most of the time, you kind of want to separate your content from your design as well, especially if you're thinking about the next hundreds of websites and you want to be able to reuse content without um, attaching or adjusting each and every template all the time. And that's
exactly. Especially, and or as you start using your content outside of WordPress, even, you want it in a way that's
yeah.
structured and reusable.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. You want to be able to use it for an API, or think of the different way around. What if you have an API that just delivers content, just a data point at the end of the day, and you want to display it inside WordPress? Why not that way? You can just put it inside WordPress and then just fill it with your templates, and your templates will display the content, will display the
That's
images
awesome.
delivered by the API if you want to. Yeah.
That's great. I mean, I'm excited. This is a really cool era for the web and WordPress in general. I'm excited to take a look at this. And well, I mean, we've jabbered enough about it. Should we just get in and take a look at some of the stuff? And
Oh yeah. We can definitely do this. I let me share my screen here real quick.
look, your web hosting is about as exciting as watching paint dry, except when it goes wrong, and then it's like watching your entire life just burn in front of you. Well, that's why you need to get managed WordPress hosting from the pros at Big Scoots. Big Scoots is basically the hosting equivalent of that friend who is actually reliable and shows up on time when you need help. They don't just throw server space at you, and whether you're running a single site or juggling multiple sites, and yeah, they handle multi site too, they've got your back. Their support is so good, it's almost suspicious. I'm pretty sure they've got some kind of direct line to the internet gods or something. Downtime? I don't know her. Unlike that sad knockoff Swiss Army knife that your weird uncle got you when you were 13, the one with the 47 attachments that looks impressive but can't even cut butter. Big Scoots is the Swiss Army knife that actually works, the one you actually want to use. BigScoots.com, the hosting solution that's not just a collection of barely working tools, and definitely not something you'll regret getting, unlike that Swiss Army knife. Anyway, back to the video.
So yeah, you talked a little bit about that. We always we think about managing content and multiple websites at once. So this is my demo site actually, where I always jump into, and this is always kind of the starting point. And this is one of the features that's what we call the GREYD hub, where you can pretty much see all your sites that are connected to this installation. So this is a multi-site in this example. Multi-site, probably a lot of you guys heard of multi-site. So these are separate websites pretty much. Obviously, they're using the same WordPress installation and the same database, but they're having their own tables, and they pretty much do not have that much to do with each other if you don't want them to. So each and every website in here could be their own website, and you can even connect them to different multi-sites in here. So let me just scroll down here, and I have a different multi-site by one of my colleagues who builds a lot of fancy stuff. And I can manage them from this point on. So I can migrate sites, I can adjust the design, migrate the design, create that as a template, install a template here. I can do a lot of stuff. I can actually just replace the database, export themes, plugins, whatever, and create a staging version. But this is where we're starting at. So this is like the managing hub of everything. I don't want to go too much into detail. And now we're gonna take a look at how this is actually done. So you have these two websites, for example, and we're gonna focus on them really quick. Let me just open them up into Windows. So we're gonna take a look at how these are built, and I'm not going too much into detail. Obviously, what comes with the plugin and the theme is obviously you're able to adjust all the global styles. You're able to adjust all the button colors and headlines, but that's nothing new, nothing too fancy. And I'm going to take more focus on what the differentiations are and how we separate content from design in this example. So what you can see here is a simple demo use case of a fitness franchise. And the fitness franchise often has the challenge that they have a lot of different franchisees, so studios across maybe the entire world. And maybe they even have different looks and feels. That's just the case in this example. But they have some content that always kind of stays the same. So that's distributed by, for example, the corporation, and some content that is locally independent. And we're going to take a look at this. For example, you can see this heroes section, and it says Discover the Joy. Have this little headline, Welcome to Fit Life Gym, which is the studio in this example. And you have this subline where everyone finds their path to wellness. And if I take a look at the second site, you can see that's pretty much the same one. So the image is the same, but you see already the buttons are different, the font is different, even the spacing. Like this has a lot more space on the left-hand side and this doesn't. So the entire global style is just swapped in this example. You can just easily swap it out. But you can also see that these little headlines are different. So this is Elevate Fit Center, and this has a different claim pretty much than this one. And we're going to take a look at how this is built. Let's just edit the page. So these two pages are essentially synced. So that's what we call global content. You can also see this. This is a global source post. It's currently in use on 2 other sites, and each save time is automatically applied to a link post and so on. So this is synced. This is not headless on its own. It's a headless capability. Why is this important? Because otherwise, if you would just kind of fetch it live from a different website, each and every WordPress site in this example, and this is a standalone WordPress site at the end of the day, or could be migrated to another hosting, for example, would be destroyed as soon as this connection got lost or the server goes down or whatever. And this is pretty crucial in our opinion. So, and these two are synced now. So you can obviously just sync different sections and sync different parts, but in this example, I sync the entire page. And here you can see the first example of how dynamic data is included in here. So this is just a paragraph, and this is a headline. If I click here and adjust this headline and I save this, it comes to no surprise that this is automatically updated here. But it's updated here as well, without changing the design, without changing the subline, for example. And that's why, because this is dynamic. So I included this using a dynamic tag pretty much. So I can get every data point that is inside my WordPress installation, be it a WP option, a post meta, whatever, just by typing hashtag. And in this example, I just wanted to do my website subtitle. And that's it. And it's there. It will be displayed automatically. So this obviously differentiates in these two examples, and both websites having a different subtitle.
Well, so you can mix and match dynamic and static content with
this
the
is
same template.
really easy to example. To obviously we use the block editor. We want to stick as close as possible to the core. It's always kind of our philosophy. So you can see this is a core headline block. This is a core paragraph block. Obviously we add more properties to it and add more features to it, but we're always trying to stick as close as possible to the core and using the core blocks so you are not that dependent of these custom third-party blocks that we deliver to you. And we're always trying to use the core experience as much as possible.
That was something that stuck out to me with GREYD, was that you guys don't have a ton of proprietary blocks, but instead choose, well, you have some, I guess, but instead you choose to enhance.
Yeah, you can see there are some.
Blocks.
Obviously, it's quite a list,
some
but
sliders and dynamic
most of them
stuff
are variations of each other. They obviously accordions, which weren't around, like some search capabilities, sliders. Those are the things that the core just simply does not offer too much. Animations, forms as well. We're getting there maybe with the core, but yeah, those are just some of the features
But
that we
no need to
offer.
make an advanced heading custom block. You just
No,
use the heading block and then add,
yeah,
attributes and animations and things to it.
yeah. That's always like our philosophy, to stick as close as possible to the core, and then we benefit, of course, from what the core offers in the future. Obviously, it is challenging as well. So in the past, for example, we didn't even have margin controls and padding controls in all the
Yep.
blocks. So we offered it to our clients before the core offered it. And then we migrated our settings back to the core ones as soon as the core ones were around and were available across all installations pretty much. And then we migrate our settings to the core ones, and our users we just get rid of our custom solution of it as soon as a core solution for it becomes available. That's kind of our philosophy. Obviously, it is challenging to always stick as close as possible to the core. You have to, sometimes it doesn't work out that well to migrate it one to one. But yeah, still, we think it's an advantage, and we can be a lot faster and a lot closer to the core that way. Cool. So let's get a little bit further in the site. So you can see these 3 boxes in here. These just showcase different workouts, and that is one example of actually static content in here. So this is just easily just typed in here. There's no post type or anything in here. I can just go ahead and change this. But it showcases another feature, and that is what we call dynamic templates. You can actually see I cannot get rid of this. I cannot delete this headline. I cannot delete this content. And pretty much as soon as I try to do anything with it, it focuses the template. So this is similar to what reusable blocks do. But what we do in here as well, we let you enable whatever you want to be able to be editable, and what you're not want to be able. So if I click edit template in here, and you can see this is just a wireframe, and that's what I was referring to earlier. Is everything in here could be a post, and every post could be something different. A post could be, as mentioned, the entire page. In this case, the home page is a post. But it could also be this wireframe template that I can reuse across my different projects. And what I can do here, for example, I want to make this image rounded and actually make it a little bit smaller. Maybe make this headline a lot smaller. Yeah, and that's it actually for now. And I can save it, and it automatically will be updated here, obviously, with preserving the content that I just statically filled within this page. And of course, it will be changed here as well, without changing the content. And the content here is the same.
Wow.
And that's you can reuse it. You can now use this same template displaying a query loop. You can reuse this template for whatever you want across different projects, always preserving and filling the content later on. And this is just an example. I made this image dynamic. I made it available. You can make focal point, preferred resolution. So every content property pretty much can be made dynamic. And I can allow my authors to specifically override this. And the advantage of this is, let me just refresh this. So yeah, let's just for clarification. So what this allows me, my client, most of the time, so if I'm a freelancer agency, or thinking about my client, or thinking about just a regular author inside WordPress, it doesn't have to be just that complex of a page. It could be just a section where we use a dynamic template. And in that case, the author cannot really destroy anything. So you can just use that template and you can replace an image. This is doable. You can just type in a headline and you can type in this subtitle. But apart from that, you cannot really mess things up. And that's what dynamic templates are for. You can kind of control what your authors, your not that professional clients, are able to change in a certain post, in a certain section, in a certain page. And you can create those templates yourself and then tailor them to whatever your need is.
Yeah, and you're really just using the block editor abilities. You're not having to go into VS Code and build custom blocks and build a bunch of controls for it.
That's just block editor. That's just space for a heading, paragraph. That's pretty much
simple.
That's it. Content box is just here so you can link this entire box, and you have these nice hover effects, which is a lot harder with core groups. So this is just an example where we actually went for a custom content box, but just because we wanted to make it linkable and being like a link and still being a box is kind of tricky sometimes, just from a semantic standpoint. And that's why we opted for a custom block, but you can easily just convert it to a group without losing that much properties.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an
dynamic
important
image.
accessibility thing, and I know you guys
Yeah.
are big on accessibility too.
Yeah. Accessibility is like we can always do better, obviously, but that's a large point, and we always have to make sure that we are semantically correct, and it needs to be accessible, needs to be focusable. So the actual anchor tag cannot be the parent wrapper element, because this
Right.
messes things up as well. And you cannot really display a button in here, and I want to be able to place buttons in here, which I absolutely can. So the actual anchor element still has to be rendered, but it's kind of like absolute positioned across here and still focusable. And yeah, but I don't want to be too technical in this case. It just works. That's
Yeah.
in a nutshell. It just works. Yeah, and then next up, let's take a look at this little section here and how this is actually looking. So you can see I inserted some demo content earlier. So we can see here PowerFit program with a nice thumbnail. This doesn't have a thumbnail, it's just a larvae, so I'm sorry about that. But
That's
you can
okay.
see those are just posts of a post type. So now we're really getting into separating content and separating data from layout and design. Obviously, this is built using a query loop. But if we take a look at this one, we have a local program and a new global program. So this new global program pretty much is the same one as here. And the local program is locally independent. So you might want your franchisees to be able to insert their own programs, because why not? They want to highlight them, display them. Let's take a look at how this is built. So the program essentially is just a post type I've created. Post type, again, I can just go into WordPress, and that's just an idea of how we try to give you all the tools you need for a professional website. Because as far as I'm concerned, in my experience, what you need pretty much in every professional WordPress project, you need ACF. There's no good way. You need custom post types, you need custom meta fields, especially if you're talking about separating data from layout and design. You need
Definitely.
some way to register meta fields, register taxonomies, register post types. And we give you a post type feature as well. Obviously, you can use ACF. You can go ahead, we're compatible. You can use all that. But just so we get rid of some of the plugins, we just offer you with this capability out of the box. You don't have to use anything else. You can, but you don't have to.
Very
And in
cool.
this way, I just created this program. I enabled some features and just created a little custom field. And this program is then each and every program that I'm now creating. Oh, let's just quickly get back. And I made this globally available. And when I made this globally available, I included its contents, so all nested content inside it and all the individual posts. So nested content in a post type is not that important. But for example, if you have a page actually refers to a lot of different elements and content inside your WordPress site. So take a look at this. This is an image behind this. So this image needs to be, if you want to distribute this page to another instance, you need to make sure that the other instance knows this image. And you want to transfer this image kind of in the most use cases. And as well here, you have this template, and this template is a separate post. You need to make sure that this post is available on the other site. And this is kind of what this option does for you. And then we include the individual post, and that's pretty much all the magic. As soon as I include the individual post, each and every program that I now deliver, I can create another one, my next global one, pretty much. Just get some content here. And each and every post that I create here, you can see now this is global. And if I refresh this one, I can see my next global one is already distributed to this site as well. Obviously, I can refresh this as well, but shouldn't be a surprise that this is here again. So each and every program that I create, for example, as the main corporation, is now distributed automatically to the instances that use this post type. But in this case, I wanted my franchisee to be able to actually create their own. And obviously, you cannot really see this right now because I'm logged in as super admin, but you can see here I created some local programs, for example, kettlebell training. And I created it, and this is locally independent. And this doesn't get shared across my instances. It just it just is locally independent. If I go into the parent ones and the shared ones, I cannot really do anything. I can get rid of them because I'm super admin again. I have the
Gotcha.
capability to pretty much do everything, but I cannot really mess this up. And it's automatically synced as soon as I make any changes to it. So
Very
yeah, this
cool.
just showcases a combination of you have locally independent things, but you still have global data. And what is important is because we share this post type and this actual post type, as it is its own post, holds all the structural assets. So it holds which meta information is distributed. It holds the categories, the tags, the featured image. Everything is pretty much included into this post type. You know, and you know that each and every post has pretty much the same contents and structures and meta fields and taxonomies available, and you can refer to them just inside your actual page. And in here, it's just that easy. You just include an image and pretty much just say, okay, this dynamically is the featured image. And you just type in post title, like I did here. And if I want to showcase my post date, let's go ahead and include the post date in here. And then it will automatically show the post date of this post. And this, again, just getting the dynamic data inside the native functionalities of the WordPress block editor. Really easy
That's great.
visually.
Yeah, and I think I could definitely see, multiple different business types benefiting from something like this, where they want to give the local override. If you offer something regional or something in a certain location in one of your franchises or something like that, or that doesn't even have to be a franchise. It could be like, an event system that you share with multiple websites in your local town that all
Exactly.
show different events, but maybe want to have unique events to their particular website. Like the possibilities are endless.
Yeah, exactly. And you can mix and match between where's your destination, where's your root source. So what most of our clients are doing, or most of in those types of like this example with this franchise example,
Mm-hmm.
most of our clients are building one parent site and then have a lot of child sites. But you don't
Right.
necessarily have to do it that way. Let's go into my local installation as well, where I have a little bit different setup, and go into my global content cluster. So now we're getting into how to actually build this. So you can here see different clusters that I've built, and clusters are pretty much only the contents you stick together. So the easiest one is similar to what we've built here, is just we distribute some posts. So we select a destination. I just selected a site inside my multi-site. Could be inside a different site as well. So I connected another different local installation here. Um, and I want to distribute it there. And okay, just set up my content. So I selected my content. This comes from the site called local, and it's just posts. And each and every post needs to be automatically global. So everyone that is created is automatically shared. And then I can go ahead and say, okay, maybe I want to only make posts of my category events globally available and globally shared to this specific site inside this specific cluster, or to multiple sites at once. And this is what really enables this at the end of the day. So if I have this set up like this, distribute posts, let me just get into my root and destination, just for a little example. Or is it actually? No, it's from local, yeah. Yeah, so from the site local. So you can see the posts. Those are the 5 posts that I've created here. And those 5
Okay.
posts are automatically referenced to this installation. But what if I now want to change this? For example, I don't want each and every post to be available on my child site or on my other site. I just want my posts of the category. Maybe let's take news available, or maybe let's take how to, because this only has 2 posts. And I
Okay.
want to quickly show you the following. So I have this page just called latest posts, and you can see those 5 posts included in here, and you can easily just filter them, just showcase me events. You can see all the categories that are distributed here. And that's actually my child site in this example. And now I
Okay.
go ahead and say, okay, I only want off category how to. So now what I expect to do is there won't be 5 posts anymore. There will be only all the posts that are assigned to the category how to. Let's save and sync this. So in a cluster, this takes up to 2 minutes, because this could be hundreds of posts at once. You don't want this to
Sure.
be called instantly, and hundreds of installations at once. So let's quickly take a look at the queue. Oh, it's actually done. So what happened here is that's a little bit techy. You don't have to understand it, but essentially it synchronized the posts that are assigned to news, and it deleted the post from the destination that are not assigned to news. So what happened here? There are only two posts, And you actually see less categories because less posts are assigned to categories now. So earlier,
Gotcha.
and let's maybe just open the same page over here. Let's just go here and latest post, I think it's called here. Yeah, I actually used the same one. You can see there's, for example, uncategorized news, how to, general, and events. And automatically, without changing a lot, I have events, general, and how to. So I have less categories because less posts are assigned to actual terms.
That makes
And that's
sense.
how easy it is to just swap this out. And this could be for templates, it could be for entire post types with posts and each and everything around. And what you referred to, or what was actually you referred to in events platform, we build a lot of events platforms with this as well. But one example I have here is jobs as well. So what we did here is, what if you have an example not like this, where you have one route, and from one route you want to share jobs. You want to share jobs to different childs, pretty much. But you could do it the other way around. You have lots of different routes and share them all to one main center hub. So what I did in here, let's just see, destination. So the content comes from the destination point. Let me just go to this. Let me just quickly close these tabs. So I have the jobs here. I have a test that I created, just a test post. And this test post from this installation will automatically be synchronized to the root installation. Let's open up the root installation as well. So the root installation in here has a lot of different posts. And you can see the test from the child side automatically is distributed here. And if I create a new test here, let's just make it test 234, whatever, child 2, salary none. Let's just publish it. And again, this will take a couple of minutes, probably. Oh, it's already created. Doesn't take too long. You can see I distributed only if a certain category is selected. Let's just open this up. Yeah, and you can see, let me just open up the cluster, job, select taxonomy. I'm not sure if I have selected the correct taxonomy. So let's just go into queue. Oh yeah, there we go. So the test child is automatically distributed to the destination site. And I can go ahead and actually go to a different site. Let's just go to maybe this one as well. Let's get the jobs in here. This is just the page, I guess. And let's get the post type job in here as well. All right. Okay, now my local installation is loading for quite some time. I don't know why.
Local being slow? Who's ever seen that? Oh, there you go.
I know. All right. I don't know. Maybe something is happening. So, all right. Something was up. So this are my jobs. So I have the same post type here, but I didn't actually create any jobs for my third-party theme. And let's just get that into my cluster as well. So I want to have all my jobs on my root site, all my jobs that each and every franchisee, for example, and each and every site is posting. So let's just get that in here. So each job should be automatically global. And yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it. So, all right. So yeah, from different installations, now my contents are, so actually, oh no, I selected it the wrong way, I think. Yeah, I should. Third parties theme, save, even another one job. And oh yeah, I should create a job. Test from another child. So let's just publish it. And automatically this will be made global. And let me check my queue, everything worked. Test from another child, this is scheduled right now. So this is up to 2 minutes based on the background processing. And as soon as this is now live, I have my jobs in my root installation. Oh yeah, there's the child from the other side.
Yeah.
Let's wait for the other. Yeah, now this is completed as well. And now I have my test from the other side. So this essentially displays all the jobs from my entire installation. You can now see test from another child, test from child 2. So you can build a multi-site where each and every site sends posts to one root installation. And you have then this root installation who can just easily go ahead. And the nice feature in here as well is if I hover over this link, I'm now on the site test 2 jobs. And if I click on this, I'm automatically on the other site because the canonical URL is set this way. It doesn't have to be that way. You can display it on this site as well. But in this case, it automatically puts you on the actual child site. And this could be necessary. So if you have jobs, for example, now they apply in the actual club, in the actual franchisee, for example, and they apply and send them an email. But you can also.
But you're showing all the posts or all the jobs.
Yeah, but you're showing you have like a hub where you can query like all the posts from the entire network, all full time.
And then it takes you to the subsite.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
And then it just simply takes you to the subsite as soon as you click on it from the front end. But you can configure it that way that it just stays on that site and just displays the post. It's just one example of building like a platform that collects data from a lot of different sites potentially.
Yeah, and it's pretty much, I mean, not instant, but I mean, having to do this manually would just be a complete headache. And is this just using the REST API to
so in this example, so this example is a local installation and a multi-site, so it doesn't need to have the REST API. But of course, for example, if I let's just go into distribute posts, for example. What I can do as well is I have a different local installation, and let's distribute the post there as well. So I can select one. So you can see the URL is different. That's GREYD theme local, and it's just GREYD local. And I'm going to save and sync the contents. So let's just take a look at the queue. So this is a remote network in this case because it doesn't actually know them. And this remote network now again is a multi-site, could have different blocks as well. And this will automatically then include those posts. So for example, I can go in here and I can see my queue and what's going on in here as well. So as soon as something comes up and is something synced in here, you can actually see this has already been synced. You can now go into my clear brew site. This is the one I had. And there we are. There we have the posts. Only the how-to posts, obviously, which we configured earlier. And now, yeah, they are displayed in this example. And this, yeah, it's just a base installation. Doesn't have fancy, but where are the posts here? 5 common web design mistakes, maximizing website performance. Those are the posts we sync. That's it. Gotcha. And this is, in this example, just a different installation. Obviously, they're both local sites, so it's not a real-world example. But yeah,
totally separate multi-site.
Yeah, the same for here. Like this is a multi-site.greyd.io. It has a different domain. This is my here jt.greydsuite.de.
Mm-hmm.
So those are different installation, and they could be synced across different installations as well. And this is using the REST API, obviously. It using a auth process behind it as well. Obviously, you have to make sure that this is secure. So you can kind of connect sites just by typing them in. And as soon as you type them in, you can request the connection. You have to do it from both sites to make it secure. And you can always revert it from either site and it doesn't work anymore. And then, yeah, those sites are connected and can communicate to each other and can share contents and can be managed from either site. Yeah, a lot more.
And I guess it's worth mentioning, like, we don't have to use multi-site with this. You can connect individual applications. Yeah.
Yeah, this could be just single sites, just straight up only single site if you want to. So, for example, you have your single site hosted on your client's hosting, and you have maybe a multi-site that's your staging site as an agency, for example, where you build all the projects for your clients, and then you migrate them just by clicking migration, pretty much. You migrate them to your client sites, which you connected, and then you can maintain them from this instance. You can go ahead and still using the same assets. You can create staging versions on your own multi-site. You can migrate this. Yeah, lots of possibilities across this.
Wow. So many use cases, and it's like, it's, you know, there's a little bit of like the server admin stuff. I saw you can do staging and you can do migration of, you know, from one multi-site to the other potentially.
Yeah. You can have staging. For example, you can have staging on the same multi-site if you really want to, but that's not really what staging is about. But you can create a staging site. For example, here, I have this site, and I can create a staging version of this site somewhere. I can create a new staging site on this multi-site, and it has to be on this multi-site. But I can also use an existing site, and this could be from my entire network. So, for example, I can select my other multi-site and create a staging version of this, clone all the contents, secure the site. Excuse me for this being German. That's just how it's configured on my installation here.
Okay.
You can pretty much protect the site using a password and so on, only for different users. You can clone all the contents, you can make a backup and stuff like this, and then you can migrate them from time to time, or whenever things have changed. You kind of create the different. You migrate the contents that are changed on the staging site to the live site, and vice versa if you want to. Yeah. One more thing that I quickly just want to tackle on, because this was a lot of content heavy, but you can also do this for design assets. So for example, what I did here is I have my destination, my route again, and what I selected, and that refers to everything being a post. If you're using the site editor and the block editor, all your design assets are posts, pretty much. Even your custom styles, so your global styles, is a post at the end of the day. It is not visible a lot of the time, but we make it visible, we make it usable. So what I did here, I pretty much distributed template parts across sites. So I have this destination and the route again. Let's just get into them again. So you have this and this. So what I see here, this is my route and that's my destination. Obviously the style sheet is different, but apart from that, it's just using our theme. Pretty much the same content. And you can see this header is kind of the same. So obviously, again, different logo, different site title, different menu items. But apart from that, this is just a header has a little pop over in here and a contact form in here as well. And that's what I mean with nested contents. And this is shared. So if I go into edit site, and I can just go in here and, I don't know, for example, let's maybe do this a little bit different, maybe get a primary colored background. Let's just save that, and maybe, what do I want to do as well? Maybe get a little bit of space between, not padding, but get a little bit of space between those two, for example, and make this a primary and make this a large, really large button. It looks ugly, but you get the point.
So we can tell what the difference is.
And this is the header. So this is the header. If you're, if you know the site editor, this is what the header looks like. So this is a asset inside. So you actually didn't even realize that you're actually only editing the header and not editing the content of this homepage in that example. And now again, this is distributed. Yeah, already done. And now I can refresh this site, and you can see it automatically updated, but still referring to the same different colors. For example, this is now the primary color, which is a different one here. You can see this bigger spacing, you can see this bigger gap, and still the contact form and everything stays intact. And you can do this for your header, footer, your archive templates, single templates, everything inside WordPress at the end of the day can be a post, and you can distribute it across different installations with different, and combine them, because your custom styles are different on this installation, for example. And this even uses a child theme. Yeah, this uses a child theme, and this doesn't. I think that this just uses the base theme, GREYD theme, base theme, and this uses the child theme, and it automatically updates and matches to the current active theme, because this is always kind of tricky in the site editor. But yeah, now we're getting way too technical.
No, that's really cool. And so, and that's just because the theme.json has the same variable names, I guess, that are able to know that that's the primary color. Or
so first off, our plugin registers this little menu point below appearance, and obviously this could be done a little bit better, and we are focusing on this. It's one of the things we're building right now. We can talk a little bit about that in just a minute. But just to answer your question, those are theme assets, and that's what I refer to. Everything inside the site editor, the block editor, is a post, and that's what the site editor isn't really showing you. Right. But essentially, those templates like block home, page 404, pages, those are posts. As soon as you customize that in any way, your template parts are posts. Even your global styles are posts entirely. And by default, those are saved referring to a certain theme. And those are always saved having like this referencing the slug of the theme. So what actually happens, and this can be frustrating with the site editor. Let me just, for example, let me just swap the theme. So if you have a child theme and you swap to the main theme, you lose a lot. So you see your header is gone, your content is gone, everything is. This is back to root and back to the default version, which is all right. This is usually what you want in some cases, but not all the time. And what happens behind the scenes is there are all these posts still available in here. They're just simply not assigned to your current theme. And if you want to make them or assign them to your current theme, you can just simply do that inside the theme assets.
Oh, okay. I like that because I mean that's one of the things
Don't
is
know
like
why
switching themes in
goes.
WordPress can be kind of a pain.
This is this is a pain. So yeah, and then in this case, the homepage, this home template
It's a
doesn't
different
use
template,
this.
yeah.
Doesn't use the header. So let's just make the home template assigned to the current theme as well. And I think that's it. Yeah, now
There you
we're
go.
there. We're back to this header, this version of the home, and this could be a different template. This could be just a 2023 whatever, and you can just assign them. Yeah, as soon as it always uses kind of the same structure. Obviously, the template parts can be named different, but apart from that, it uses like index, homepage, and those kind of templates, and we make them even available in here, and then just assign them to your current theme because there's no other way of doing this. Yeah, and then you can see those are linked and synchronized, and yeah, everything is possible in here. Yeah, but that's that
I actually
entire
like that you guys have this, more traditional like list view or whatever of the things that are usually just in the block editor that are not really exposed. You can see the template parts and patterns and things like that, and
yeah.
what
But
post type it is.
that's actually one of the things that we are working right now heavily on right now, because what we are getting from a lot of our users and non-users, to be honest, is that the site editor can be confusing, and we agree it's not there. It's not where it could be, and the entire experience has some issues in our experience, in our opinion, and that's what we're doing right now. So this is just one really minor step exposing what is behind it, and it's still the classic experience, which is fine, but from a visual perspective, the classic experience is not really what you want. But that's what we're doing right now. So what we're doing right now is, together with core contributors, actually we're sponsoring two of them right now as well, we want to adjust the site editor experience and make it more extendable, because that's, in our opinion, one thing that's really lacking. We are there, we've built the site editor, it's kind of finished officially. I don't think it's finished. It's not a finished product in my opinion. And it lacks in some regards, and that's what we're trying to do right now. And that's one of our next, or the thing we're currently building this year, is really extending and adjusting the site editor experience to make it more understandable. Because one of the challenge we are seeing right now is that the site editor, block editor, is really made for, it tries to be made for everybody. So either if you are an admin or an editor or author, you kind of see the same options. So if you focus a headline, you see pretty much everything is the same. You have the same option as an admin, as a more experienced user and a less experienced user. And that's kind of one of the main flaws we're seeing. It's just one thing. And we're trying to build an experience that is customizable based on your experience. So what we want to do first is actually differentiate those experiences based on user roles and capabilities, sort of. And as soon as we have that, we want to make our clients, our customers, to adjust those experiences. So what you want to do is, for example, for your franchisee in the fitness example I've built, the actual person who has to maintain like the data inside this installation will not be a WordPress professional. 99% of the time, they don't know how to use the site editor, block it, or whatever. So you have to customize the experience and really tailor it to them. So they only see what they should be seeing, and it becomes less of options that are visible to you and everything. And this is what we're really trying to do. So the advanced developer focused person should be able to customize everything and even use raw CSS and wherever. But the less experienced user should only be seeing what they're actually understanding and not giving a choice of whether this layout should be site wide or a content wide size, and the
Right.
padding should be. They don't even may not even know what padding is and what one REM is supposed to mean. They don't necessarily know that, and that's all right. You have to kind of customize the experience to them, and that's what we're trying to do. We're seeing some flaws, and we're trying to communicate with our customers who are communicating those flaws as well to us, and getting the overall user experience of the site editor and the block editor, improving that, extending that, not like changing the overall experience entirely, but extending it and getting something out of there, something in there, depending on what you're capable of doing.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I mean, I don't know if do you guys take inspiration from other CMS? I haven't spent a ton of time in other ones besides WordPress, but I was taking a look at something like Directus or Strappy that let you again like create content models for editors, with the editor role that are not developers that are able to really actually manage this type of global content in a way that in WordPress it's you can set all that up and you can make custom blocks and you can do that. I just wondered if you guys take inspiration from anyone else.
Yeah. So obviously, a lot of what you have seen creating those post types and global content is kind of like the classic WordPress experience, close to that.
Right.
It's not the block editor experience in it all. What we're doing now is we're still in the analyzing phase. So I'm talking about what we want to do, and we're analyzing right now, obviously, different plugins and solution inside WordPress, but also outside of WordPress. And as soon as we got that, we another part of the analyzing phase is talking to users and non-users, pretty much, of different types and groups. So developers or just simply content artists, marketing, personal, or really non-experienced users. And yeah, we're trying to collect all that. And obviously, we already have a long list of things that could be better, could change a little bit, are not really understood easily by first-time users, or even long-time users as well.
Yeah.
Like this has two focus areas. We want to not only like build experience for different user groups, but also we have two focuses. One is lower the burden, lower the entry barrier you're getting there. So having a really easy start in there. This is where the editor really sucks, to be honest. This really sucks. Everybody who uses it the first time doesn't understand it. It just doesn't get it.
Definitely.
And
people,
yeah,
as you said, people that have been using WordPress for a decade or more are like still kind of lost.
And then even if you know the site editor and the block editor very, very well, there are still some points where you get lost and you get stuck, and it's not really efficient. And just watching some of the speed builds, for example, by where Jessica contributed on the WordCamps, for example, just seeing where users get stuck, and they're really, really experienced. They really know what they're doing, and they're getting stuck a lot. And then take a look at less experienced user where they get stuck. And there's also different points, and you have to take them both into perspective. And that's
and you kind of have to retrain your brain on some of this stuff. Like, I mean, the
Mm.
navigation, for instance, like we've always done navigation in a certain menu editor area.
Yeah. Navigation is like in my opinion, one of the most flawed
That's the big one.
experiences
And kind of
in
an
the site
important one.
editor. Yeah, it's really important. Like, and having this only inside the site editor, and only as soon as you have the capability to be able to edit themes. Edit themes is the capability that's behind from a technical perspective, and edit themes is really, you can break a lot of stuff with this capability. You can essentially get rid of the entire homepage, or delete all the single templates and everything, or the archive templates, which are really structural and important and might have a lot of complex content and conditions in there. But as soon as
and
you
by the
have
way,
that,
if you change your theme next year to 2026, it's all gone too.
Yeah. And only with this capability, you're allowed to actually edit navigation items and navigation elements in the site editor. And I think that's really flawed, because this is usually like an editor task. You don't want your designer or your more experienced user to have to include a link inside the main navigation. That's not, or footer navigation or whatever. That's not what you want to do. You want this to be able to be editable by an editor and or an author even, and not necessarily by only a designer, because that's not really a design task. But yeah.
And you mentioned this a bit earlier about you guys do sponsor contributors to core. I think Jessica's working on that,
Yeah,
and one other person on
Tammy
your team.
Lister, Tammy.
Okay. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Great. So I mean, I look at that as like, to me, one of the main selling points of GREYD is like your guys' commitment to improving core and to not just making a bunch of proprietary stuff. And like these are the kind of things I think that will help convince CSOs and CTOs of large companies that are like, why would we choose to use something like this? Well, I mean, these are upstanding members of the WordPress community that are trying to improve it for all of us as well.
Yeah. That's like I talked a bit about the philosophy. We want to stick as close as possible to the core, which is not always possible, obviously, and we still have to be valuable and offer different experience on top of that, obviously. But at the end of the day, we do really profit if the core gets better and has more features. If the core, and that's now I'm referring to the site a little bit as core, but it is like the feature we are right now trying to improve, kind of like.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore we want to be able to change some things, but also want to be able to change things conditionally, and therefore we need to extend it. We need to be able to extend it. And right now, and I think a lot of developers will agree, it is not as extendable as we are used to with the classic PHP focused workflow of WordPress, where you can pretty much do everything. At least that's how you feel. You are capable of extending and getting rid of every menu item, renaming everything, which is breaking the experience a lot of the time. That's why different WordPress installations can have a huge different experience from time to time. But I think we are there where the site editor is stable enough that we can extend it a little bit more, and then allow plugin authors at the end of the day, like ourselves, to be able to extend it and change it, modify it based on our clients' experience and what they want to, and tailor-made it and tailor them for their needs. But also, obviously, everybody else out there will profit from this as well. So as soon as we get extension possibilities and kind of talk about what could be done, if there's a possibility to to adjust it inside core, or even have like a filter or anything, this will also profit everybody else and the entire ecosystem. And that's what we believe in will be good for the future. So we don't necessarily just want to enhance our experience. We want to enhance the core experience, because even we as a product company, we have to kind of sell our clients or non-clients so they become our clients
Before their clients.
Before their clients, we have to sell them on like the entire block editor site editor experience, and it's not always that easy. And it's because we're staying close to the core. It's sometimes hard for them to know, is this core, is this already great, or is this core? And we are getting a lot of support requests and issues and stuff that have nothing to do with us. Nothing. It's just core, and it's all right. It's the way it is. But that's So we have a huge interest to improve with the core offers, or at least give our opinion. That's what we need to do, and that's what we want to do this year, heavily this year. We always want to do that, but sponsored Jessica and Tammy to heavily give our opinion, to just have a discussion on certain topics. And at the end of the day, I don't think this can harm. This can always improve. And
Absolutely. And you guys are putting your definitely. You guys are really putting your money where your mouth is in that sense, to really not just improve your own product, but improve the experience for all of us.
We're trying.
It's a process.
It's still some things need to be done, obviously. But yeah, just discussing and giving, because I think that is one of the critique points as well from time to time, is that that WordPress is not really maintained or developed by people who are actually knowing the real life examples and the real life use cases. And that's, I think, where product companies are really a lot better, because our clients that pay us money actually are those people. They have the real use cases, and they're really, really interested in that those work, and those solutions are there are solutions for their problems, essentially. And that's what we always try to have the conversation with our clients. So a lot of our clients tell us openly what they want to be able to do in the next project and the next project down the road. And yeah, we have a lot of the real life use cases that maybe if you develop such a large product like WordPress, you don't always have, and it's a good thing. It's fine, but we can really give those experiences in there and then recommend what could be done, and that's what we're trying to do.
Very cool. Very cool. I mean, there's so much stuff. I mean, I feel like we barely scratched the surface.
Yeah, I have
It's hard to
talked
show
about like
everything, right?
10% of the features, but that's what I wanted to focus on today, just global content and
Yeah.
everything
Well, I
else.
mean, if people like this kind of stuff, I mean, maybe we'll do another one of these. I think, I mean, we were talking before we started recording just about like how many different plugins this actually can potentially replace, and you're not having to rely on a bunch of third party add-ons necessarily that might not function together. That's an interesting part too. I mean, you guys have custom post types built in there. You have a form builder. You
Yeah,
have
pop-ups, import
pop ups. Yeah,
export, migration, backups, search, a lot of search capabilities like live
and the
search, live
filtering and
filter.
stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like,
filtering,
yeah,
like building that in the block editor, relevance-based searches, global searches as well. Like all these connections between sites, you can also use them to just query them all at the same time. That's also
very cool.
possible. So just a global search. You have gated content, like user role editor. Obviously, I talked a lot about different capabilities in user roles, and you can obviously customize them all. So you can adjust different capabilities and mix and match, create your own roles. All of that needs to be possible by default. Yeah, and then just on a block level, obviously, yeah, we use the block editor, site editor, so you can say this is kind of in it's not a page builder, or at least WordPress doesn't call it a page builder, but essentially it builds the website visually. So it kind of is a
Yeah,
editor, visual editor. So we're not getting rid of this, but this is also included by default. And then yeah, a lot of blocks obviously are included in there as well, like slider, accordions. We advanced the query. We have Lottie animation stuff a lot. Tabs block, and yeah, I'm just scratching the surface, but those are some of the
yeah.
examples.
There's a ton.
Yep.
Well, this has been awesome. I mean, as we start to wrap up, I just had another couple questions about like, do you guys have an ideal customer? I know we talked a lot about franchises. We talked a lot about multi-site. Is that a particular area that you guys are going hard on to try and get more customers? I mean, this is not necessarily for a person who builds one site in their whole life,
Yeah,
or
yeah, that's what we're trying to do more of. I mean, obviously, if you look at our pricing, the pricing is more reflecting of this. So we think we are most valuable if you really think about efficiency building lots of sites. So
yeah,
obviously, or a lot of our clients are freelancers who are building like 5 to 10 sites a year. So that's not a lot necessarily. But if you think about, you save like, I don't know, 10 hours on each project, like do that in your, just quickly in your head, how much you could charge for those hours if you save them, and just sell another project in the
definitely.
same time, or just have free time in that.
Yeah,
And
and it's not always
that
about
is always,
the volume of the numbers of sites. It's
no,
like the complexity and also the needs of like,
yeah.
do we need global content? Do we need overrides for subsites? I mean, these are the things you guys have already kind of thought about, I think, and given
Yeah,
a
and not having to install a plugin each and every time, and not having to worry about, are they compatible? What's the perfect setup? It's just all of our features are definitely compatible with each other. Like those are just
yeah,
included and baked into, obviously. But that's but our or the customers we're having, or we're focusing on a little bit, or like having the most customers of, are really large, are agencies. They're building a lot of sites, and those are our customers, and those um, and then those are building projects together with their clients where they have like larger platforms, larger ecosystems, and that's where you get a lot of value. And that's kind of what we talked about today. If you have a huge platform or mix different platforms that all have to communicate together, and you have to migrate, you have to manage them all, like that's where this saves you tons of hours, and
definitely,
that's what we're trying to focus on. Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Yeah, and I mean the last thing would be, I mean, we talked a little bit about like what you guys' plans are for 2025 and going into 2026. Do you guys have anything you want to share on that front
Yeah,
without giving away too many secrets?
we're developing something, but that's the buzzwordy. I don't really want to do that, but obviously we're working hard on AI right now.
Mm,
We are working on the user experience, especially when it comes to the site or block editor experience, customizable user experience. That's what I talked a lot about today. Those are the things that we have. A couple of more kind of like dynamic enhancements. So we want to more combine like our form building experience with the dynamic data behind that, and then using forms to trigger search. But that's a lot of
Nice.
like that gets into the details. But yeah, from a larger point of view, the main things are the user experience that we're working on, and AI. And there we have. I don't want to talk too much about that. You can read some of the things teasered on LinkedIn, but that's it.
Yeah, and that would be the other thing is like, how do people? What's the best way to like keep up with all the stuff you guys are doing? I know you guys. I think you guys recently started a podcast. Is that right?
Yeah, we started a podcast, GREYD Conversations.
Great conversations.
Yeah.
There you go.
Or like the name of the.
I'm just stealing the idea and releasing it myself, apparently.
Yeah, and yeah, that's so. Yeah, you can follow us. Obviously, we have a newsletter. We have social media. You can follow us on Twitter, X. Sorry. Yeah, you can follow us on LinkedIn. Thomas is really open and discussing a lot. But I think Twitter, X is probably the best starting point to kind of see what we're up to and see what we're building. And then we are at a couple of WordCamps each and every year. So we will be at WordCamp Europe, Vienna, probably. We're at Cloudfest in Germany. So Cloudfest Europe, 2 weeks from now, actually. Yeah, 2 weeks.
Oh wow! Yeah,
we've been to WordCamp Asia, but yeah, that's in the past now.
well, I got to meet your team at the last WordCamp, and that's what kind of sparked this whole my interest in it. So it's pretty cool to see all the things you guys are doing in the community.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thank you very much.
Well, I think we're just over an hour here, so I think yeah, we'll call it there. And I really appreciate your time and preparing this demo. I know it's a lot to like prepare a bunch of multi-sites. I think hopefully that you can reuse some of this content in the future, and look forward to what you guys are
it's
building.
not the first time that I've shown some of the things, obviously. Yeah, but yeah, appreciate having me here. Really appreciate you taking the time and giving me an opportunity to kind of talk about what we think and what our thoughts and experience are. Yeah,
awesome. Well, I'll leave a link to the GREYD website and maybe some of the social media links and stuff like that down in the description, and we'll take it from there, and we'll check back in with you.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you very much, Brenton. Was a pleasure. It was a really nice conversation.
Oh, I appreciate that. All right, take care. We'll see you in the next one.
Thank you very much.